On the eve of my son's wedding, an incredible truth was revealed. Tomorrow, you won't be family. The words echoed in Tom's mind like a broken record, each repetition twisting the knife deeper. The diner was alive, bustling with laughter and the aroma of homemade pies, a small Midwestern oasis filled with the warmth of friends and family. Yet here he stood, strained and silent, watching Jake, his eldest, surrounded by loved ones, oblivious to the storms swirling in his father's chest. Tom had poured his heart into this diner, and it became a second home not just for his own family but for the entire town. As neighbors celebrated, he couldn't help but remember how far they'd come. Jake, with his boundless enthusiasm and kind heart, was a testament to everything Tom believed in: hard work, love, and perseverance. But now, looming over the joyous occasion, like dark clouds before a thunderstorm, was the unsettling news that Jake's biological father was coming to the wedding. A man sculpted from executive decisions and lavish parties, nothing like Tom, who wore grease stains like badges of honor. As toast after toast ringed out during the rehearsal dinner, Tom felt a knot tighten in his stomach with every kind word. "You're going to be a great husband, Jake," they said, raising glasses, laughter ringing throughout the diner. But all he could think was that tomorrow, that man would walk through those doors and shatter the family he had built. Torn between pride and fear, he retreated into the kitchen, trying to swallow the lump in his throat. Before we continue, I need to let you know about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, hit that bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can drop a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. The tension ebbed and flowed, a wave of exhilaration that barely masked a tide of worry. What did Jake's father have that Tom couldn't offer? Was it the polished charm of wealth, the glittering allure of endless possibilities? The townsfolk, always supportive, sensed his unrest, giving him knowing looks. They shared glances of reassurance, whispers amid the clinking of forks and the warm chatter reminders of their small-town kindness. As the sun dipped below the horizon, Tom felt the walls closing in. How would he face this man, this embodiment of what could have been? He retreated to the dim corner of the diner, drawing solace from the familiar sight of his friends, fellow veterans, and local leaders, individuals who had weathered storms themselves. Mustering his courage, he grabbed a pen and drafted a speech, pouring every ounce of love, resilience, and gratitude he felt into those words. Yet, as dawn broke, the kitchen filled with the rich scent of freshly brewed coffee and baked goods, unease surged in Tom's heart. The clock ticked loudly, each second heavy with anticipation. The day that was supposed to mark a new beginning felt more like an impending farewell, and the lives they had built layered in love threatened to unravel. Now, the wedding ceremony was just around the corner. Would he manage to protect what he cherished most? As the guests nestled into their seats, a whisper cut through the cheerful ambience. Jake's biological father was here, his entrance like a cold wind through the warm diner atmosphere. Tom stood at the microphone, heart racing, ready to uplift his family's journey. What he didn't know was that the real question loomed larger than any speech: can loyalty and love withstand the dazzle of wealth and status? Tom's pulse quickened as he caught sight of the man stepping into the diner. He radiated the kind of confidence that money cultivates. Hair slicked back, suit pristine, eyes scanning the room with a predatory gleam. Jake's father had arrived, and with him, a chalk dust settling over Tom's heart. Guests shifted in their seats, whispers wafting like smoke through the air. Tom could almost hear the unspoken questions rippling through the crowd. What would happen now? Would they shatter the beautiful illusion he had crafted? Dad Jake's voice pierced through the din, innocence etched on his face as he waved over to Tom. Come on, I need you. Tom tore his gaze off the stranger, his heart battling between pride and panic. The young man he had raised stood at the altar, wide-eyed and full of hope, just as he had been on so many other occasions. In that moment, Tom felt the weight of the world on his shoulders, squeezing his chest tight. He had to put on a brave face. He had to show Jake he was proud, no matter what. Yeah, buddy, Tom replied, forcing a smile. I'm right here. As he approached, Tom felt the gravity of the moment settle onto his bones. The room was alive with laughter and music, but all he could hear was the beat of his own heart thudding against his ribcage. Jake grinned, blissfully unaware of the tension that twisted inside his father. Can you help me with a tie? Jake asked, a nervous chuckle escaping his lips. Tom reached for the fabric, trying to focus on the simple task rather than the knowledge that everything might soon unravel. He carefully worked the tie into place, thinking of years gone by teaching Jake how to ride a bike, taking him to the diner for milkshakes, sharing dreams on long drives through cornfields. Just then, a voice broke through the noise, smooth and polished like the expensive leather shoes the man wore. Jake, my boy. His biological father had approached, extending a hand, a charismatic smile plastered on his face. You look sharp, son. Tom felt his heart drop. It was as if someone had pulled away the curtains to let the chill seep in. Jake glanced hesitantly between the two, confusion flickering in his eyes, an unspoken question hanging painfully in the air. Thanks, Dad, Jake replied, hesitating. You, too. The weight of silence buzzed like an electric current. Tom clenched his jaw, watching as the crowd began to turn their attention to this newcomer. Jake's father exuded a magnetic quality that drew people in, but for Tom, it felt like a riptide pulling everything he valued away. Let me get a picture of the three of us. This is a moment to remember, the man suggested, sliding an arm around Jake's shoulders. Tom's heart thudded louder now. He felt as if he were standing at the edge of a cliff, ready to tumble into an uncertain abyss. Just a second. Tom's voice rang sharp, breaking through the illusion of warmth that cloaked the diner. He stepped closer, the fire igniting within him. This is my son, he said, each word heavy with emotion. I've raised him. Loved him. And I'm not about to let that change. The room fell silent, not a fork clinked nor a whispered awe escaped lips. All eyes were now fixed on the three of them. Could he really protect what was so dear? The air thickened between them, and the tension crackled like static. What would Jake choose, the promise of a charmed life or the authentic love of a father who had always poured his heart into every meal, every moment, every memory? As the silence dragged on, Tom's stomach twisted with anticipation. He could see the uncertainty flicker in Jake's eyes. Would his son choose the life he had known, or would this moment define everything? And just when Tom thought he might lose it all, the question hung in the air, sharp and demanding: which family would Jake choose? Jake's eyes darted between the two men, a mask of confusion playing across his features. Tom could almost see the gears turning in his son's mind, weighing love against allure. The waiter, momentarily frozen, blinked hard before turning away, and the music seemed to fade into a hush, leaving a void filled only with stares and speculations. Jake, Tom's voice broke slightly, filled with emotion. He took a step forward, his heart beating wildly. You've always been my son. There's nothing that changes that. Jake hesitated, the flicker of uncertainty morphing into something deeper. The weight of expectations hung in the air like a storm cloud, ready to burst. Come on, son, said the man with a casual drawl that made Tom's stomach churn. Don't let anyone ruin this moment for you. You're about to start a new life. He leaned in, almost condescendingly, as if Tom were an irritant to be brushed away. Tom's hand clenched at his side. A wave of protectiveness washed over him. You don't get to say that, he shot back, his voice steady but low. You haven't been here. You don't know what it takes to be a real father. The intensity of the exchange reverberated through the diner. Some patrons leaned in closer, eager to catch every syllable, while others looked on with a mix of excitement and discomfort. Jake shifted uneasily, the energy in the room a tangible thing that constricted around them. Can't we just have a photo? Relax, everyone's staring, Jake said, his voice slightly frail, a stark contrast to his earlier brightness. No, we can't, Tom insisted, his voice rising above the still air. This isn't just about a picture. This is your moment, it's about who you want in your life, who you consider family. Jake's gaze dropped to the floor, and for a brief second, Tom thought he saw tears shimmering in his son's eyes. The years they'd spent together all flashed through his mind like an old film reel: family barbecues, late-night talks, first heartbreaks. It had never been perfect, but it had been theirs. "Dad," Jake finally said, fragile but firm. "You have to understand, I don't know what to do here." "I know," Tom replied, his heart pounding as he stepped closer, ready to bridge the gap between them. "But really think about what matters. Look at this man. Is he the one who stood by you before tonight? Who wiped your tears? Or is he just showing up because it's convenient?" Finally, Jake's father intervened, trying to project calmness, but his fists were balled tightly. "You think you know best? You've had your chance. Let him choose a life that's better." Something within Tom snapped. "Better?" He stepped back, shaking his head. "A life without the people who love him most, is that the kind of better you're offering?" The air crackled as if struck by lightning, each person in the diner holding their breath. Jake was torn, and Tom could feel his heart pounding in his ears. And then, in that critical moment, a weight of the world hung over Jake's frame. What would he see when he looked back at his father? What memories would he hold on to when faced with such a powerful presence? With everything at stake, Tom braced himself, fully expecting something monumental. What truth would Jake uncover about the lives he lived, the families he would choose? Jake took a deep breath, glancing at his father's earnest gaze and then back to the man who wore the crown of wealth. In the silence, a decision was being carved into the air. "Dad," he started, and Tom held his breath, waiting for the echoes of the past to unfold in this defining moment. But just then, a commotion arose at the door, shattering the tension as another figure stepped through. Someone else was about to change everything. The door swung open, and in walked a woman who seemed to steal the air from the diner. Her vibrant red dress clung to her frame and flowed like fire, drawing every eye. A cascade of dark curls framed her face, highlighting cheekbones that could cut glass. She was stunning and fierce, but it was the expression on her face that sent a chill down Tom's spine, one of desperation mixed with determination. "Jake!" she called, her voice rising above the murmurs. Jake's head snapped up, surprise flooding his features. "Mia?" He took a step back, eyes wide, as if trying to catalog every detail of her sudden appearance. Tom's heart raced. Who was this woman? All he saw was the way Jake's posture shifted, the way he leaned in, a mix of hope and confusion lighting his eyes. It echoed the way Tom had seen Jake respond to love before, and a pang of jealousy threatened to claw its way to the surface. "Please, you have to listen to me," Mia said urgently, her gaze cutting through the crowded room. "I couldn't let you go through with this without telling you the truth." The words hung there, heavy and charged. A collective intake of breath washed over the patrons, their eyes darting from her to Jake, then back to Tom. "You know her?" Tom interjected, trying to ground himself as the ground beneath him felt less certain. "Yeah, Dad," Jake exclaimed, his tone brightening but laced with confusion. "She's a friend." "Friend?" Tom's voice caught in his throat. There was something more behind that word, he could tell. The way Jake was looking at her, it was more than companionship. "More than that, actually," Mia replied, taking a bold step forward. I'm the one who had to exit your life for a while, Jake." Her gaze softened, locking onto his. "But I would never choose to abandon you. I thought I was protecting you. I wasn't strong enough to stick around, but I loved you." The diner seemed to shrink around them, the atmosphere heavier. Tom felt his pulse hammering in his chest. Who was she? How could mere friendship prompt such passion? Jake shook his head, fighting to comprehend. "You just disappeared. Why didn't you tell me?" "I had to get away," she said, shaking her head as if trying to banish bad memories. "Things got too complicated. I wanted you to have a chance at a normal life with your father, without me getting in the way." "Normal life?" Tom shot back, a well of anger bubbling up. "Running away isn't the answer. Dad, please," Jake urged, a flicker of fire in his eyes. Don't. Just let her explain. She took a deep breath and straightened, the anguish in her eyes being replaced with clarity. Jake, I wasn't just a phase. You mean so much to me. I came back to tell you everything that's led me to this moment before tomorrow. Tomorrow? Tom echoed, and dread began to coil within him. Tomorrow is your wedding day, Jake. Mia nodded, her eyes glistening. And it's also when the truth can no longer stay hidden. You must choose whom you trust and cherish, Jake. The stakes were set high, and Tom could see the gears of Jake's mind spinning again, processing the weight of so many emotions. The diner fell into a silence so thick it felt suffocating. Jake's breath hitched. What truth? The world seemed to slow as the answer drew near, and Tom braced himself, heart clenched, wondering just how far this revelation would go. Moments hung suspended in time, every eye focused on the young man at the crossroads of love and loyalty. As Mia opened her mouth, ready to unravel secrets that could shatter or strengthen their bond, Tom could only watch, heart racing, fearing the echoes of the past might fracture the future. What revelation awaited Jake that crucial moment? Would he choose love or loyalty? The silence in the diner was so thick that it could almost be sliced with a knife. Tom's heart was hammering loudly, drowning out the sound of clinking dishes and whispered conversations. It felt as if everyone had paused, breath held, waiting for the storm to break. Jake's gaze was locked onto Mia, a flicker of hope mixed with uncertainty dancing in his deep blue eyes. Jake, Mia began, her voice trembling, I never meant for you to feel abandoned. I thought it was for the best, but I can see now how much I hurt you. Tom squirmed, his mind racing. He had seen Jake grow over the years, his boy's laughter, his dreams, the way he worked hard for everything. Could Mia really come back and expect to fit into their lives again as if nothing had happened? The idea made him fume. Just spit it out. Tom snapped, his tone harsher than he intended. What's this truth you keep talking about? You can't just come back and play the victim here. The weight of Tom's glare fell on Mia, and for a moment, it seemed to drain the color from her face. But she squared her shoulders, clenching her jaw with resolve. In the time I was gone, she said softly, I discovered something about myself. About us. She took a slow breath, as if trying to gather courage from the air around them. Jake, the reason I left, there were things I didn't understand about my family, my past. Things that could put you in danger if the truth came out. My mother, she's not who you think she is. And it's tied to you. Jake's brow furrowed deeper, the confusion evident as he processed her words. What do you mean? Are you saying my life is in danger? From what? Tom stepped deeper into the fray. This is ridiculous. You don't just waltz in with cryptic warnings. If you really cared about him, you'd tell him everything and stop hiding. Tom. Jake said, a mix of frustration and sadness seeping into his voice. Please, let her explain. Mia gripped the edge of the table, her knuckles turning white as she leaned forward. Jake, your life is connected to mine in ways I didn't know until recently. Family secrets can ripple through generations, and they won't stay buried forever. I didn't want anything to happen to you. The diner buzzed with curiosity, the patrons leaning in, wide-eyed. Tom felt anger bubbling up again. Who was this woman who thought she could just barge back into their lives and spin tales of danger? And yet, a part of him questioned, what if she was telling the truth? Why should I believe you? Jake's voice was steady but strained. The boy stood at a crossroads, 1,000 emotions swirling in his gaze. Because I came back, Jake. I risked everything to find you. I couldn't let your wedding happen without sharing this. Wedding? Tom spat, disbelieving. You're seriously considering this woman, Jake? After she left you? Do you even hear what she's saying about being in danger? Dad, I need to think. Jake shouted, his voice rising. Think about what? About how to trust someone who vanished without a word? The tension crackled in the air, an electric charge threatening to detonate. Mia stepped closer, her expression a blend of sadness and sincerity. I know I made mistakes. I thought leaving would keep you safe. But if we don't face the truth together, Tom cut her off. Together? You think you can just stroll back in like nothing happened? Jake shook his head, visibly torn. What if there's more at play here? What if I'm actually in danger? The words hung between them, heavy with possibility and dread. A million thoughts snapped through Tom's mind. He couldn't let his son wade into murky waters. But could he silence the part that wavered? Jake, what do you want? Tom urged suddenly. Amidst this storm of revelations, what did his son truly feel? With eyes darting between the two women in his life, Jake faced a decision that could change everything. I want the truth, but where do I even start? As the echoes of uncertainty lingered in the air, the diner suddenly felt too small, the walls closing in. What truth awaited Jake, and was he ready to uncover it? Tomorrow loomed large, and with it came both promise and peril. The clock was ticking, and choices needed to be made. Would Jake confront what lay hidden, or would he walk away from the tangled web of love and loyalty? The air crackled with tension as Jake looked between Tom and Mia, each one a pillar of his world, but now, they were at odds. The diner's fluorescent lights flickered, casting sharp shadows and illuminating the inner turmoil etched across his face. Mia's voice was almost a whisper. Please, just listen. I didn't come back to hurt you or disrupt your life. I came back because I realized I can't live with the fear of what might happen to you. Tom scoffed, arms crossed tightly. You think a few pretty words can take away the past? You've heard him too many times already. But what if the past holds the key to his safety? Mia shot back, her resolve igniting like a spark amidst the gasoline. What if knowing the truth protects him from something real and dangerous? Jake could feel the weight of the decision hanging over him like a storm cloud, dark and foreboding. His heart raced. Just tell me, Mia. What's really going on? What aren't you telling me about your family? Mia took a breath, her eyes shimmering with unshed tears. My mother was part of something I never wanted to be a part of. When I left, I thought I was protecting myself. But now, I see it could be larger than me. I didn't know how deeply the past would intertwine with your life. I thought running away would keep you safe, but what? You thought lying was easier? Tom interrupted, his voice like thunder. Tom, please. Jake shouted, his frustration boiling over. He couldn't bear to see Mia broken in front of them, or to watch his father's anger suffocate everything. Stop. Just stop for a second. Silence reigned in the diner as all eyes turned to him. Jake felt small and yet monumental. He had to choose. Mia, he said slowly, his voice firming up despite the whirlwind inside, what do you need from me? I need you to trust me, Mia implored, inching closer as if trying to bridge the chasm between them. We have to dig into this together. Only then can we understand what you're really up against. And maybe there's a way to keep you safe. Tom's groan echoed like a storm brewing. And what about your track record, Mia? What if this is just another ploy to drag Jake into your messy life again? Jake held up a hand to silence his father. No. This time it's different. His eyes glimmered with determination. I need to know the whole truth. I won't pretend it doesn't matter because it does. To me, it always has. Mia's gaze softened. Thank you, Jake. I promise to share everything. It might not make sense at first, but we have to start somewhere. Suddenly, the diner felt like a stage, and all eyes were on them, waiting for the next act. Jake gulped, and the sound somehow echoed, merging with the murmurs around them. What's your mother's name? He struggled to swallow the knot in his throat. If I'm tied to this, I need to know who I'm connected to. Mia hesitated, the weight of her secret crashing over her like an avalanche. It's Emily. Emily Cole. And she's not who you think she is. There are people watching her, and through her you. Cold dread settled into Jake's bones. Is she dangerous? Are people actually after us? Mia nodded, her expression grim. Yes. But together, we stand a better chance. I wouldn't have come here if I didn't believe that. The eyes of the diner gazed upon them curious, concerned, as the truth unraveled. Shaking hands, Jake's thoughts swirled around him. Had he just opened the door to a hell he couldn't escape? Would tomorrow bring a wedding? Or a confrontation with the shadows of his family's past? Jake, Tom said finally, his voice quieter but no less urgent. We need to protect you maybe, Jake interjected, steeling himself for whatever phrase could shatter the carefully maintained calm. It's time to stop running and start fighting. As the last words slipped from his mouth, an uneasy silence enveloped them, once again a precursor to the chaos that was sure to arise. What new threats lay in wait for Jake? Was he ready to face the consequences of truth and legacy, or would everything he held dear come crashing down? The moment hung thick in the air, feeling more like a challenge than a choice. Jake's heart pounded. He could see Mia's nerves dance across her face, each breath she took filling him with both fear and determination. Tom leaned closer, eyes piercing. You think you can just wade into this with her and come out unscathed? She's playing a dangerous game, Jake. One that involves people we can't even begin to understand. Maybe I'm tired of being afraid, Dad. Jake shot back, defiance bubbling to the surface. If what Mia says is true, I'd rather know than sit back and pretend everything is fine. Mia took hold of Jake's hand, grounding him, her fingers trembling but warm. Please understand, Jake. This isn't just about us anymore. It's about protecting you from what's out there. My mother's past isn't just her mistake, it's a legacy, and it's reaching into our lives. The diner seemed to grow quieter, every swirl of conversation fading. The other patrons watched, some with concern, others with mere curiosity. He could feel their eyes, but right now, it didn't matter. All that mattered was what lay ahead of him, a path he could either take or not. Tell me what I need to do, he said, his voice steady, but anxiety thrummed beneath the surface. First, we need to figure out what exactly is going on. I wish I could give you more details right now, but I don't even fully understand it myself, Mia said, her voice filled with urgency, yet laced with fear. You'll need to trust me, more than ever. Trust? Tom scoffed. What does that even mean? You've let him down once before, Mia. How can we know you won't do it again? Jake felt the walls closing in, caught between the woman he loved and his father's protective instincts. What am I supposed to do? Just forget everything? Act like it's not happening? That look in Mia's eyes, the desperation, the pain, echoed something far deeper than just affection. It reminded Jake of the nights he lay awake, haunted by dreams of shadows scrabbling at his door, visions of danger just beyond reach. You said it yourself, Mia. If we're going to fight this, we have to do it together. Mia nodded, determination washing over her. Then I need to go back to my mother. She's the key to all of this. If we can get her to talk, what are you saying? Tom's tone shifted from protectiveness to disbelief. You can't just waltz back into her life. You don't know what you're walking into. But I have to try. You won't understand until you see what I see, Mia insisted, her breath quickening. You can't do this alone, Mia, Jake interjected. I'm coming with you. No. It's too dangerous for you, Mia replied, panic creeping into her voice. She gripped his hand tighter. You don't understand what my mother is involved in. This could spiral out of control, then let it spiral. What do I have to lose? Jake's heart surged with urgency. I'd rather dive headfirst instead of hiding behind empty walls. I'm not letting fear dictate my future any longer. The diner was silent now, the weight of Jake's resolve settling across the room like a heavy blanket. Mia whispered, Okay, then we'll do it together. We confront this, Jake. Tomorrow. Tom opened his mouth, then closed it again, searching for words but finding none. The mixture of emotions weighed heavily on him. Mia took one step closer. But we need to prepare. I believe it leads to something far bigger than us. Then let us prepare, Jake insisted. As they settled into a plan, the uncertain path stretched before them, shrouded in shadows and secrets. Whatever awaited them felt like the calm before the storm. Would tomorrow truly unveil the darkness lurking just beneath the surface? Are you ready for what lies ahead? Mia asked, her voice barely above a whisper. Jake nodded, steeling himself. Whatever it is, we face it together. Outside, a breeze picked up, rattling the diner sign. It felt like a warning sign. But inside, all that existed was an unbreakable thread binding them, a fragile hope blooming. As they pushed past the diner's door, a new reality awaited them, full of uncertainty. What awaited in the shadows? What truths were ready to consume them? The stakes had never been higher, and Jake could only hope that fighting back would lead them towards safety and perhaps to a future they had yet to imagine. The first light of dawn crept through the window, casting pale shapes across the room. Jake stared at the ceiling, his mind swirling with thoughts of what lay ahead. He felt a mix of excitement and dread knotting in his stomach. Mia's words echoed in his mind. We confront this together. He was ready, but was she? He felt his phone vibrate silently on the bedside table. Glancing at it, he saw Mia's name flashing. His heart skipped. Hey, he answered, trying to keep his voice steady. Jake, we need to talk, Mia replied, urgency lacing her tone. Can I come over? Of course. I'm ready, he said, though he could feel the apprehension creeping back. As he got dressed, Jake's mind raced through every possible scenario. Would they find answers? Would they be strong enough for whatever was coming? Minutes later, a knock at the door sent Jake's pulse racing. He opened it to find Mia standing there, her expression serious yet hopeful, her hair catching the morning light like a halo. Morning, she said softly, stepping inside. Are you ready for today? Jake took a deep breath. More than ever. They settled on the couch, the air thick with unspoken tension. Jake reached for her hand, intertwining their fingers. Whatever happens, we'll figure it out together, right? Right, Mia agreed, though a flicker of doubt crossed her face. But I might need to face my mother alone first. Just to get a feel for things. Alone? Jake almost couldn't believe what he was hearing. After everything, that's how you want to start? Mia's eyes dropped to their hands. If I bring you in right away, she might shut down. I need to see how she reacts first. You'll be right there when I need you. Not liking the idea but knowing she was strong, he nodded. Okay, but please just promise me you'll be careful. I don't want to lose you. A deep sadness washed over Mia's face. You won't lose me. I promise. They mapped out a detailed plan, each step guiding them closer to an uncertain truth. Jake couldn't shake the feeling that this confrontation would unveil more than they were ready for. As the sun rose higher, Jake grabbed his car keys. Let's go. Mia's heart raced as they drove toward her mother's house. With every mile, her thoughts spiraled deeper into the past, the hurt, the darkness she had barely managed to escape. She could feel the weight of her legacy pressing down, almost suffocating. When they finally arrived, the house loomed in front of them, a weathered memory encased in shadows. Do you think she'll be home? Jake asked, peering into the dim windows. Mia exhaled slowly. She should be. She doesn't go out much. I just hope she's open to talking. As they approached the front door, fear clawed at her gut. With shaky fingers, she knocked, each sound echoing with uncertainty. Here we go, Jake said, his voice low but steady, an anchor beside her. Moments later, the door creaked open. It was her mother, pale and weary, but something flickered in her eyes. Curiosity? Recognition? Mia, she spoke, almost a whisper tinged with disbelief. When you see this face, you have to know why I'm here, Mia started, unable to fully move past the threshold. Jake felt the tension electrify the air as the past intertwined with the present. What started as a conversation was about to become a reckoning, but before Mia could continue, her mother's expression hardened. You think you can just waltz back into my life after everything? After what happened? Jake exchanged a glance with Mia, sensing the storm brewing just beneath the surface. We need answers, and we have to talk, he urged, stepping forward, his protective instincts kicking in. The air thickened with unspoken words, emotions heavy and palpable. The stakes would only rise from here. Pausing, Mia realized she had to confront not just her mother, but her very identity. In this moment, everything hung in the balance. What truths are you hiding, Mom? She asked, her voice barely audible, yet powerful enough to shatter the silence. As they waited for a response, Jake felt the world spiral around them, a kaleidoscope of uncertainty. He knew they were on the brink of change, but would it lead to healing or further heartbreak? And in that instant, as the air held its breath, he wondered what new reality would emerge from this confrontation. Mia's mother's breath caught, the silence stretching between them like a thin wire, quivering under the weight of unsaid words. The light from the door illuminated her pale face, and for a fleeting moment, it seemed as if the world paused, waiting for her to respond. Truths? Her mother echoed, a sharp edge to her voice. The truth is that you've always been good at running away. You think you can come back and just pick up where we left off? Jake tightened his grip around Mia's hand, sensing her tension escalate. He wanted to intervene, to protect her from the hurt that was clearly rising within her mother, but he also understood Mia needed to face this alone, armed with her own strength. I'm not running, Mia insisted, finding her voice. I'm here because I want to understand, to fix things. But I can't do that if you won't talk to me. Her mother stepped back, a visible barrier forming between them. You think understanding comes just by asking? You have no idea what it means to face the truth. Mia took a deep breath, determination flaring anew. Then show me. Help me see what you've been hiding. In that moment, her mother's gaze softened, if only for a heartbeat. You think you're ready for that? I've spent too long wondering. It's time for answers, Mia said firmly. Answers, her mother said, tasting the word as if it were foreign. What if the answers you find aren't what you expect? What if the truth shatters everything? Mia felt a chill race down her spine. I have to risk it, she replied, her voice steady. Jake felt the atmosphere shift, like a storm cloud gearing to burst. He could see the conflict swirling in Mia's mother's eyes, a battle between fear, love, and regret. You think it's that easy? Her mother's voice trembled, a mix of anger and vulnerability. You think just showing up means I'll open the door to everything I tried to bury? What have you buried? Mia pressed, tears glistening in her eyes. What do you want me to know? For a moment, anger seemed to flicker in her mother's eyes, but it quickly melted into something softer. Was it shame? I wanted to protect you, Mia, from the pain, from the truth. Jake could feel the breath catch in Mia's throat. Would her mother finally share the secrets that had haunted them both? I was scared, her mother finally admitted, her voice barely above a whisper. Scared of what it would mean for you. Scared of what? Mia asked, desperation creeping into her tone. Of who you might become after you learned. Her mother hesitated, swallowing hard, as if the words were stones lodged in her throat. After you learned about your father. The air thickened with this revelation. Jake glanced at Mia, his heart racing. It felt monumental, a small door creaking open that led to a room filled with shadows and echoes of a hidden past. Mia's heart pounded, the weight of her mother's words sinking deep into her. What about him? What happened? You can't just drop that. And I thought I was keeping you safe, that it would spare you the pain I endured, her mother interrupted, tears pooling in her own eyes. Please, Mia urged, stepping forward, willing to risk it all. I deserve to know. We both do. What would happen if her mother revealed everything? Would it change their relationship forever, or could it bind them together? In that charged silence, she felt the air shift again, a tide turning within her mother. Mia held her breath, heart racing. But before her mother could respond, the sound of a loud crash echoed from inside the house. A picture frame shattered on the floor. They all turned, startled. What was that? Jake asked, body tense, ready to protect Mia if needed. Mia's mother's face turned pale. No. It can't be, she muttered, her voice shaking as she stepped back into the house. Mom. Wait. Mia called out, but her mother was already retreating, the door creaking shut behind her. Let me go, Mia insisted, ready to follow her inside. Jake grabbed her wrist, holding her back for a moment. This can't end here, he said, urgency practically vibrating in the air between them. Mia looked back at him. The scared but resolute fire still burning in her eyes. I can't let her shut me out again. As she took a step toward the door, Jake could already see shadows of fear and anticipation dancing on Mia's face. What more would they uncover about her father? What other secrets lay waiting in the recesses of her mother's heart? Mia reached for the handle, heart pounding. We need to know what she's afraid to say. With a deep breath, she pushed the door open, and all at once, everything changed. Inside, the dusty air felt charged, tangled with secrets and unsaid words. The dim light cast long shadows against the peeling walls, each crack symbolizing the fractures in her family. Mia stepped in first, Jake close behind, ready to face whatever lay ahead. There was a heavy stillness, a sense that the world was holding its breath. Mom. Mia's voice echoed softly into the hallway, urgency layering her tone. Please, don't walk away from this. We need to talk. Jake glanced around, heart racing. He felt the weight of every decision pressing down on him. This was more than a discussion, it was a reckoning that could reshape their lives. From within, they heard a muffled sob. Mia felt a pang in her chest, an instinctual urge to comfort her mother. But she couldn't ignore the truth any longer. I'm not going anywhere until you tell me everything. She called, determination blazing in her eyes. A moment later, her mother emerged, her face a mixture of pain and defiance. You don't understand, she countered, frustration breaking through. You think knowing the truth will heal everything, but it won't. You will wish you had never asked. Mia felt her heart lurch. I have to know. Please. I won't be afraid anymore. Her mother studied her, each second like a weight pressing heavily on them. Finally, she sighed, the tension in her shoulders drooping just a bit. All right. But know this, Mia, the truth comes at a cost. Mia took a deep breath, glancing back at Jake, who nodded with supportive fervor. Whatever it is, we can handle it together, right? Yes, together, she affirmed, finding strength in Jake's unwavering presence. Her mother stepped closer, her voice trembling but firm. Your father, he wasn't just a man who left us. He was involved in dangerous things. Things that brought ruin, and I thought by shielding you from him, I was protecting you. Jake's pulse quickened. What, exactly, did he do? He was part of a syndicate, a web of corruption that could put your lives at risk. They've looked for him since he disappeared, and they might still be searching for you. All of you. The weight of her words hung between them, mingled with confusion and fear. Mia felt a shiver crawl down her spine. Searching for me? Why? Because you carry his blood. They believe you can lead them to him, or that you might be just like him, her mother whispered, anguish buried deep in her inflection. Mia shook her head, disbelief flooding her senses. But I'm nothing like him. How could I ever maybe? But you don't get to choose what others believe. Her mother's voice edged with desperation, urging them to understand. If they knew where you were, it would put you in harm's way. Jake moved closer to Mia, placing a hand protectively on her shoulder. The resolve in his eyes combined with his instinctual need to protect her felt comforting yet daunting. What do we do? He asked, voice steadier than he felt. Her mother was quiet for a moment, the walls around them whispering remnants of the past. Then she took a deep breath, regaining some composure. We fight against it. Together. We have to be smarter than they are. You need to stay hidden. If they suspect you, they will stop at nothing. I will help with everything I know. Mia felt fire igniting within her. I won't live in fear anymore. Not now that I know. Jake squeezed her hand, unity grounding them. Then let's confront this. The past is not stronger than our future. A smile flickered on her mother's face, a ghost of hope mixing with fear. I know you can do this. But you must trust me, we need a plan to protect each other. As they all began to strategize, the air around them buzzed with determination, igniting new visions for their future. In that moment, secrets no longer felt like shackles but rather stepping stones toward reclaiming their lives. Hours later, the sun dipped low, casting brilliant hues across the sky, a stark contrast to the shadows of the past that had loomed over them. They stood together in that worn room, a mix of a family gathered in their unbreakable bond, a family refusing to let fear dictate their future. Mia looked at Jake, their hands intertwined, ready for whatever battle lay ahead, aware that tomorrow wasn't just another day. It was the beginning of their fight for a legacy carved by love, truth, and resilience, and as they left the house, stepping into the fading light, they could see a future illuminated not by the shadows of their past but by their collective strength, hearts beating fast, ready to navigate through whatever awaited them. The wedding tomorrow? For Jacob and his father? They'll navigate that together too, but not before saving their own lives first. The struggle for family and identity wasn't over. It had only just begun, and they were ready to meet it head-on. Today was different. This was their moment. Now, if you felt this transformation in your heart, you need to subscribe immediately to the channel. Don't wait not even one more second. Hit that like button now to feed the algorithm and show your support. And comment your reactions and feelings about the ending below. Lastly, share this video instantly with at least 5 friends who need to see this transformation together. We'll spread the fight for love and truth.